Hi, I'm Paul Germain, and welcome to another session of Smart Boating. As you know, if you watched the show before, we cover a wide variety of topics, from man overboard to hurricane protection. And the general idea is to give you some information that will help you make smarter decisions and have more fun on the water. Today's show is a little bit different. We're going to go down kind of a side alley or stream, if you will, and we're going to talk about lighthouses. It's going to be really interesting. And joining us is an expert in that area. His name is Marty Nally. Welcome, Marty.
Hi, Paul. Nice to be with you again.
Thank you, thank you. We're going to have a great show here today.
Absolutely.
But before we get into it, can you share a little bit about your background in boating and, more importantly, your background in lighthouse refurbishment?
Well, I've been boating for a long time, since I was 6 years old. My whole family boats. We still do it. And I just happen to be a mason contractor. So combine them two together, and our government created a program to restore lighthouses in New England. And I participated in the program and won a bunch of them.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's great. You have just the right background for a show
I
like this.
do, yeah.
So let's get right into it here. We've got a kind of a different technique today, and that's we're going to use some footage that was actually filmed here at 1623 Studios of various local lighthouses, and explain not only those lighthouses, but some of the environment that lighthouses, the surrounding lighthouses in general.
Yeah.
So let's roll this one right here. Our format's gonna be, we get these different video clips, and we're gonna roll and then pause, roll and then pause, roll and then pause. So that's kind of our rhythm here.
Yep.
So let me just show our viewers a couple seconds of this. This is a beautiful lighthouse here. This is an Annisquam, right?
Annisquam Light, yeah.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about it? Was it part of the original system that was set up?
It's Cape Ann is just the history of Cape Ann is incredible. Mm-hmm. This actually used to be called Wigwam Point, where all the Indians used to congregate in the summertime.
Okay.
But the reason why the lighthouse is there is because it was a kind of a hurricane hole for all the fishermen from up north, New Hampshire and Maine, and it was a very busy port for shipbuilding and fishing and all kinds of activities. So it was there to show this is where we are. Come on in. And
this is a very important light.
Absolutely.
And
it's one of the
around a long
busiest
time,
waterways in the country.
Yeah. Has it been around a long time?
1820-ish.
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 That's a long
the first
time.
light, yeah.
Well, let's look at a little more of it then. This is a nice shot, nice flyover here. Now, if we pause on this is the light in what do you call that? An oil house? The little thing beneath it?
It's an oil house at the base where they used to keep the whale oil in those days. And they just never really changed the design or structure. So.
Right.
Yeah.
This is what, all brick, all stone?
It's all brick. It's
all
probably
brick.
the second or third lighthouse that they put there.
Oh, is that right?
They used to build them out of wood, and they would crumble in storms, and they figured out that masonry was the best way to go.
Of course.
For longevity.
Right. And why? And so the oil house, that's where they kept the oil, keep the light
Now it's
lit.
more or less a mechanical room because everything's been electrified.
Yeah, that's a great view of the light there.
Yep.
So we'll get a little closer here. Why would they have a window in it?
Window for basically ventilation and light. Just like we have one for today.
Right. That's a pretty significant window right there.
Yeah, it's glass block now because they try to keep people out of them now. They're all mechanized, so you don't need any keepers there.
Oh, I see. Right. This is a close-up. All brick. That's a lot of bricks.
It's a lot of brick, yeah. It certainly is. And believe it or not, that's kind of a small lighthouse.
Is it really? Wow. Look at this. Now we're at the top of the lighthouse here. And it's got almost like I would describe it as a widow's walk, a way to walk around.
It's called a watch deck, and the lighthouse keeper would be out there looking in fog and looking for fishermen that are in trouble.
Yeah. Now, would they go up there on a regular basis, or would they stay up there for a while, or how did that work out?
They were supposed to man that light 24/7. So they've had multiple people out there, so they do it in shifts.
Oh, okay.
And again, the light would be burning oil, so they would have to keep that running at all times.
Oh, right. Any idea how long it would, you fill it, and then how long it would go? Would that be like 1 hour?
About 12 hours.
12 hours.
Yeah, they used to have mechanized systems. They experimented all kinds of equipment,
I bet.
trying to perfect the business.
Now what's that? It's got the roof and it's got a ball at the top of it. What's that about?
That's a vent ball, so air can circulate into the lantern and then out the ball to keep the glass from freezing over, fogging up. And
Did they need to get ventilation in there to keep the lamp burning? Did that need a certain amount of oxygen?
Also to keep the lamp burning, yeah.
Yeah.
They're heavily vented, which
Okay.
is a good thing.
So the vents would be like halfway up the structure. We can't really see them because it's black on black
Correct, yeah.
here. Then the air would flow through and then out through the ball.
Yep.
And this is where the lens would reside, right? The Fresnel would.
Every
typically
lighthouse had a
Fresnel?
Fresnel lens in it.
Yeah.
It
What
was-
does that mean, Fresnel? Is that
they
a
were-
French term or something?
They were polished crystals created by a French guy, Fresnel, in France, and it projected the light 10 times what a normal flame would do.
Really?
So it was, it was a great for the mariners because they
Yes.
could see the light.
What would be the range of a light like this? Any idea?
I think that's like a second order Fresnel, so I would say 12 miles.
12 miles. Yeah. This has had the light replaced, as they
This-
all did, right?
Yeah, they all now
But
have.
historically, or where they got started initially, those were the big Fresnel lenses.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, that's a beautiful shot. What are the materials here? Is this an iron roof or a steel
Cast
roof?
iron.
Cast iron.
They were pretty much, that's how they built them all.
And though that wore really well, right?
Oh God, it's an amazing product. It stays there. It's 200 years old and it looks fine. You just
Yeah.
got to paint it.
Yeah,
Obviously, this
that's amazing.
looks like it needs a paint job.
Right. But that core foundational material is still
absolutely, yeah.
still strong.
We
right?
actually years ago we took that down to raw
Oh, did you really?
iron.
And this looks like a lightning rod at the top there.
Yeah, that's a lightning rod. So when it does strike it, it goes
Yeah.
into the ground.
It's almost inevitable that it's going to strike it, right? It's the tallest thing
They're
around.
struck all the time.
Now this is we're going around the building here. I was just wondering, were there certain aspects of the structure that typically would deteriorate first, whether it was the top of the brick or the middle of the brick or the bottom of the brick?
Everything. It
Okay.
needs constant maintenance.
All right, there's
It's,
no pattern. Oh, the
No,
middle
everything-
goes first.
Especially in the winter, these things are so beaten up by the weather.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're right on the
It's-
ocean. You got the surf on them.
And it's still the same today.
Yeah.
It's,
Has special paint on there.
there's all kinds of epoxy paint that,
Yeah.
that they Coast
Probably
Guard specs.
experimenting forever.
They have.
Just trying to get the best thing they can. Yeah. How wide is that? It seems it looks pretty big diameter.
I'm guessing it's about 14, 16 feet wide.
Oh, just that.
Yeah,
I was
it's
going to
not a
guess
very big
bigger
one,
than that. Yeah.
but-
Okay.
It's in a beautiful area. I mean,
Yeah. This is the top of the Annisquam where
Annisquam is-
where it releases into the Ipswich Bay, right?
yeah, correct.
Yeah. Now, where would the lighthouse keeper be?
He has the house right next to it. You can
he
see
does.
it there.
Okay. All right.
To the right.
That's the lighthouse.
And it's nowadays, since they're all automated, it's the keeper's house is for an officer and his family.
I
It
see,
would be good
right.
duty.
Now, this is the second light that we have.
Yeah, this is Straitsmith.
Yeah, this is off of Rockport, right?
Yeah, in Rockport.
That's a
And,
rugged-looking area right there. It looks like
it is rugged.
You need an excavator to get all the rocks out of the
It's
ocean
a pile
and
of
pile them
rocks.
around.
It's a pile of rocks. How'd you like to live out there for
Oh, man.
8 years?
Now, I see they got a walkway, and I think we got another shot of the walkway. It goes in that door. That door must be pretty well reinforced, I would
Oh yeah,
guess.
they're all stainless steel, solid doors. You know.
And they didn't live here. This is where they did their work.
There was a
but they
keeper's
followed-
house here. It's still there, actually.
Yeah, well, I think we got a picture of that, but that's a little further inland, if you will, right?
And the reason that's there is the Rockport had one of the greatest granite industries in the world.
Right.
And that was they put that there to show the entrance to the Rockport Harbor.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's open ocean right there. Yeah, you don't want to miss
Yeah.
too many rocks.
There are shoals all over the place there, too. So
there really?
it has many reasons why. it's there.
Navigation, very, very important for navigation.
Yep.
Now, would this doesn't look as high up as the Annisquam? Is it? I don't know. It could be
an
just a
engineer
perspective.
in the 1800s figured out what heights they wanted it at, and they wanted them different heights because they're put on charts. So
Yes.
the captain or the
Okay.
navigator can
Yes.
tell what level they're at. And they can
Right.
identify the light better.
Right. That's a nice shot of that. Got a very long walkway here, so you got to walk up quite a distance to get out of the surf, I guess.
Yeah, the walkways are specifically built for storms because, believe it or not, the island completely floods.
Really?
Yeah. So if you didn't elevate the walkway, you couldn't get to the light to
Right.
continue it working
Keep the-
properly.
So just like the other light we saw, they would climb the stairs inside and go up to the top.
Correct.
And then they would do physical.
And those walkways
looking.
get washed out all the time. We've replaced a half dozen of them.
Really. And this would have the Fresnel lens up in that glass enclosure at the
Yep.
top, typically.
Yep.
Right? Any idea of the range for this one?
I'm
What were
going to
they
say
aiming?
10 miles.
That's what I was thinking, 10 to
I'm
12?
going to say 10 miles.
Yeah. So there's some serious surf there. This is a calm day, and it looks like
Yeah,
there's some serious
it's a
surf
beautiful
going
day
on
there.
there.
Just don't go swimming.
No. Now this is Eastern Point here. This is something that a lot of people around here are a little bit familiar with. At least they've seen it.
Yeah.
It's the Eastern Point Lighthouse. This is quite an operation here. They've got a bunch of houses, and they've got the
Yep.
lighthouse, and they've got the jetty, if you will. Is that what you
It's
call that? The breakwater.
It's a very significant lighthouse.
Yeah.
Gloucester was the fishing capital of the entire country.
Right.
And actually, once they brought the train in 1850, the fishing industry exploded.
Really.
And everyone in the country started eating fish because they could ship it.
Yeah.
This light here, Gloucester had 400 ships just under their
Right.
area.
Right in their
And
harbor.
they had
Yeah.
foreign ones coming all the time.
Yeah.
400 or 500 ships at a time coming, looking for this light coming in.
Wow.
So it was
This
very
is critical,
significant,
huh? Yeah.
And they built that jetty. There's a reef out there, Dog Bar Reef, and they
Oh.
built the jetty and put another light on the end of it. So the keeper here had to
Oh, I
maintain
see.
2 lights.
Yeah, that's a crazy maintaining that one. Now here they got a series of buildings. That must be the keeper's house on the left,
Yep.
and then it looks like there's a enclosed breezeway, for lack
Yeah.
of a better way to put it,
Yeah.
between the house and the lighthouse. And I guess that's so
Storms, winter storms, they want to stay warmer than
warmer.
it's
Anyways,
tough to go
not
outside
warm, but yeah.
a dozen times a day to maintain the light.
Yeah.
So they enclosed it.
Wow. There's a little closer up here. Now, what's that building, block building on the right?
Believe it or not, that was the Foghorn House.
Okay.
And that was put there probably 1870 because of the foggy days.
Oh, is that right?
And
Yeah.
when you couldn't see the light, so they needed another.
That's quite a fog if you can't see
Yeah.
these lights. So yeah, you get that. So you get the fog house down the bottom right, and then you've got the breezeway, I'm calling it.
Correct.
Between the light, yeah. This one's got a couple windows in it,
Yeah,
and it's got the lightning rod at the top of the ball, at the top of the.
same design. Yeah,
Yeah. I guess once they found something, it would
the government
be
didn't
derivations
stray much
of that,
from
right?
there.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got here. Looks like they've got a radio tower there now, in the left.
Yeah,
It's a lot of buildings. This one seems to have many more buildings than many of the lighthouses you see.
yep.
How about this guy here?
This is 10-pound island light.
All right.
This is
So this is the perfect storm.
they mentioned
Right?
it, the perfect storm.
Yeah.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's got much more fame than that. This
it
was
does.
there was no trees on it when this was significant, and
Really?
it had a Coast Guard base with an airplane.
It did. It doesn't look like enough room to put an
Exactly,
airplane.
and it had a fish where they grew fish.
Really?
What are they called? It was a fish farm.
Is that right?
Yeah, the government studied it,
Oh.
but there was a lot of activity on this island. throughout its career, and now it's just the one lighthouse left.
Yeah, it's an important lighthouse.
And
I
this
go by it a lot.
lighthouse actually signifies, after you come into the harbor, that you can take another right and go to the inner harbor in
Right.
Gloucester,
I know
where
what you
all
mean.
the ships got worked on. And
Yeah, this is a nice shot of it.
Yeah.
Again, a lot of glass, big area for the Fresnel lens.
yeah.
Smaller house, much smaller.
Well,
in height.
it was significant. It had a big house.
Oh, it did?
Only back in the 50s. They took it all down.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So this is the replacement. This isn't as high as the original one was.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Right, they got the same walkway there, and they'd go around there and keep their eyes open, I
Yep.
guess, huh? It looks like steel, but it's brick, right?
No, it is steel.
Oh, it
with
is
a brick
steel.
lining. Yeah,
Oh,
the bricks
okay.
inside.
All right. So the original one might have been all brick, maybe,
It
and
was.
this
It
is
was
the
actually
replacement.
it
as
was
steel.
an octagon out of brick.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's a different view. This is the
They
harbor.
they
here.
get so battered in storms. They're always changing them. You know?
Yeah, yeah. That one's right out there in the middle of the harbor there.
Yep.
Interesting. This back doesn't have any windows, so they don't need light in the
They
back
don't.
of it.
They
do
don't
they?
want the light to flash in the back. Correct.
Yeah. This one is a familiar sight to a lot of people, right?
Oh yeah. This is the great twin sisters on Thatcher Island.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful island. If you've never been there, it's great to go out to.
Yeah, here's the twins here. Now, were these built simultaneously or sequentially?
They were built at the same time,
Oh, they were.
and they were. It's one of the. It's.
I put
one
two
of-
up. All the other locations we've seen just had one.
You know, I don't know the engineers figured out how what reason they did that for. I don't have the answer offhand, but I know they're built. Fishermen can line up to the Thatcher Island lights, and line up, and
That's
they
what I
can
was thinking. They
put
maybe
their
use them
compass
as a range.
dead north if
Yeah.
you line them up.
Yeah, yep.
But the significant part of Thatcher is they built it not to enter a harbor, but it was for very dangerous reefs in the area.
Oh, really?
So it was built by the British because we hadn't crossed over yet.
Is that right?
We didn't get our independence yet, so the British actually
They
built the
did,
first
yeah.
9 lighthouses.
Now, this looks, the construction looks to be a different material.
It's granite.
Oh, is it?
It's
Where did that come from?
It's New Hampshire granite.
New Hampshire.
Imagine that with the greatest quarries.
The British building it out of New Hampshire.
It could have been some kind of a deal with somebody knows somebody.
Some kind of a deal.
Because the Rockport quarries were right next to it. And the town was really upset about the whole thing for years. That all the granite came
Oh,
from New
right,
Hampshire.
because it had all the Rockport, yeah.
Rockport was Gloucester at the time.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So something like this looks like a very tall light. What are we talking
It's
about here?
129, I think. I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's tall.
Yeah.
136 stairs to get up.
Is that right?
Yeah. If
Yeah.
you were the keeper there, you had a tough job.
Yeah, that's a lot of,
You're going up, 9, 12 times a day.
holy
So,
smoke.
You were in good shape.
How'd they get the oil up? Did they have to carry it up?
Carried, most of the time carried, but they did
Oh, my God.
create other ways of doing it. There's an experiment on a lot of lighthouses. You'll see things up the side where they had clockwork to bring it up.
Right.
But mostly carried by hand.
Right. Yeah. And this one, I don't know, but it seems like the windows are different in this one. At the top, where the lens would be.
Well, it
Seems like there's more panes or something up
it
there.
had a first order Fresnel, a big Fresnel lens in there, like, a dozen people could fit in the middle of it.
Is that right?
And it was, it's actually the first thing you can see coming over by ship in Europe. First thing in
that right?
America is the.
No, it is not.
Yeah,
Is
that's
it
right.
really?
Island lights. Yeah.
Wow. And so as I look from the top to the bottom, I see the lightning rod up there.
Yep.
And then it looks like I don't know, a cord or something coming down.
Well,
from it.
that's
And that's the grounding
that goes
cord.
down to the ground. Yeah.
Right.
We've actually we replace a lot of those, because they still function perfectly.
Oh, they do. I was going to say they blew up when the lightning hit.
No,
They carry the
still
load,
work,
huh?
yeah.
Wow. All right. And so they have that in a little ball, and then you were talking
That's
earlier,
the vent
that's
ball,
the
yeah.
ventilation.
They're all the design is the same.
Right, yeah. And this one looks like it has two widow walks, though. Would you walk up there where the light was, or just below it? You see the
You
two
can do
railings
either.
that go?
The walk where the light is for cleaning glass. You know, you had to get out there and clean that glass.
Right.
So, and then the one below it is called the watch deck, where you'd be out there with binoculars looking for
How did they
mariners in trouble.
How do they keep the lens clear? I'm just thinking about that. In the winter,
Constant
you're
cleaning.
in a blizzard or
Constant
something.
cleaning.
Yeah. So it wasn't like just because it's dirty. It's more because it has an inch of ice
Well,
on
the
it or
interior was
something.
dirty because they were burning whale oil.
Right.
And the outside, because of the salt air and all the other elements. So you were cleaning a lot of glass back then.
And this shape, as I look at this shape, it seems to be, it's not the same all the way up. It's not symmetrical. It has a little bit
conical.
of a cone.
I call it conical, and it's for wind purposes.
Wind.
Yeah,
Oh.
it breaks the wind. Engineering-wise, it breaks the wind better.
Oh,
so
right.
Less sway. Those stone buildings sway.
Did they really?
Still, yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So they move around.
Yeah.
And,
sort of foundation did they have on them?
deep granite foundations.
Really? Yeah. They didn't have concrete or anything back there, huh?
No.
No.
Well, they did, but all the granite's anchored together too with steel rebar.
Oh.
Yeah, they're all pinned together every direction.
Okay. We're talking some serious construction.
Yes,
there.
yeah. That thing's not going over anytime soon.
How about the house? Is that the caretaker's house?
Beautiful caretaker's house. Of course, they needed a couple of them because there were two lights there, and there was a lot of work to keep both of them going.
Right. So they'd have two
There's
separate
probably
keepers, one for
three
each.
or four families out there of Coast Guard people
Oh, really?
maintaining these lights. So.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
But it's a nice island. You could grow food out there. You could have animals to live by.
Yeah, it's a good-sized island, isn't it?
It's not some of the bad ones that I've seen.
Right. And they have a little harbor around here someplace, I guess, where you bring your boat in and something that's a little sheltered.
Yep.
We're looking at Gloucester?
We're looking at Rockport.
Rockport.
Yeah, in the background, yeah.
All right. Take a little wider focus here.
That's the North Light, yeah.
Wow. That's impressive, isn't it? Now, is that house, the oil house that you had
It was
talked
the
about
oil
earlier?
house, now converted to the mechanical house.
And do all these have, are all the Fresnels displaced or replaced about the same time? And so do you see a common replacement at the top?
Within a 5-year period, they were all taken out.
Wow.
A lot of them are in museums. You can go see them.
Okay.
If you look up, you can see them.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them were thrown overboard.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was just the cheapest way to do it, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially on these islands.
Wow. And does that still operate today?
Believe it or not, it was shut down for many, many years, like 30, 40 years. But the group that takes care of the place now lit it again, and now they're both running.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's the only double lighthouse running in the entire country. So,
wow.
yeah.
Wow. That's very cool. Huh. That's an impressive shot, isn't it?
Certainly is. They kept a mafia guy out here, our government, for a little bit. And, he couldn't stand it. It was so desolate.
Is
Joe
that right?
Barboza, yeah.
Is that right? Yeah.
He only lasted like 20 days, and they had to ship him back
Oh
out.
my God! Wow. That's unbelievable. That's quite a. Now is that what's that house down on the left?
That was the foghorn house for that.
Oh, I see. All right, so they get them as close as they can to the light, but sometimes it's not really.
They don't get
easy
them
to
close.
do.
They figure where they want the horn to blow because it is directional.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, so I guess they want it to blow into the Rockport Harbor, their area.
Oh,
Because
okay.
that place was full of ships from the granite industry,
Oh, is that right?
just thousands of ships a year.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So this thing had to be on 24/7, no matter
Well,
what.
when it was foggy, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. I was thinking about the light. The setup had to be
Yes, the light was always on, yeah.
hooked up and ready to go.
Correct.
Yeah. That was a nice shot. Wow. Well, that's pretty much some of the highlights of what we got here to show people today.
Okay.
You know, you've every mariner is in touch with lighthouses to a certain extent because you're always looking at whether it's Thatcher's or whether it's Eastern Point or 10 Pound. It's commonplace. It's just part of the environment.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are interested in what a role they played.
Yeah.
What anything else that you think is important to add about this? It's really a mainstay of Americana, right?
It is. They're actually called America's castles because they're our oldest structures in the country.
Yeah.
And go out to. There's a huge following for lighthouses. You go out to them. There's a bit of romance in the air.
Yes.
Because you can think back. There's 250 years ago, people were using these. They were like your Apple iPhone of the day.
Right.
So,
Right. It's amazing. So a lot of nonprofits, the part of the program you were in, the government was transitioning, with your help, the lighthouses to nonprofits,
correct,
right? So they're typically, around here anyways, they're typically owned by nonprofits.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah. The Coast Guard still maintains the light because someday they're probably going to turn them off. I don't know when, but they're still navigational beacons. And but they're mostly owned by nonprofit organizations.
Right. Is it possible to go out to see some of them? Like if you inquire?
Yeah. You should You should go out to see them. It's like I said. It's an amazing. When you think of the history and everything, it's romantic.
Yes.
You can stay at them. There's plenty of inns you can stay at.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Maine has a dozen of them you can stay at.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, we get some really good ones around here.
Yeah. Thatcher's a beautiful place. You should definitely get out there if you haven't been. Great boating experience.
I'm going to make that a point.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining me.
Sure. Thanks for having me.
And thank you, Smart Boating viewers, for joining us. If you have any comments or questions, just visit us at smartboatingus.com. Thank you.